Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Everyone's ripping into Andy Cohen for being obsessed with Real Housewives surgery. There's a clear divide when it comes to Bravo boss Andy Cohen. Some people want him to ask the pressing questions, while others are really infuriated he's asking about Housewives surgery. Andy Cohen kept asking Jessel Tank about what plastic surgery she had, and it was obvious she wasn't eager to answer. She's been open about getting veneers and getting Botox since she was 26. Her co-star, Brynn Whitfield, has previously accused Jessel of getting a different face and a different mouth in the recent season of The Real Housewives of New York City. Brynn insinuated that Jessel didn't pay for her surgery, and people felt Andy was jumping on the back of that drama. One viewer said, "Yeah, you weren't asking, you were demanding. It was uncomfortable." Andy might not be everyone's cup of tea, but he certainly makes the stars confront their drama. He doesn't leave anything out, which might not be said for other on-screen hosts. After seeing the criticism online, he told his ex-followers that questions about surgery is the top of the list of viewer questions, regardless of the season or franchise, which is a part of the series' DNA. People thanked Andy for doing the Lord's work, with one writing, "People always try to make it seem like you are asking these questions personally when clearly you ask the fans every time on Twitter." Oh, Andy Cohen, the king of Bravo, the man who practically invented the art of TV show reunions, is under fire once again. This time, it's not because of a dramatic fight on Real Housewives or a shocking twist on Watch What Happens Live, but because of something a bit more personal. His alleged obsession with the surgical procedures that some of the Real Housewives have undergone. And boy, the internet has not been kind to him. Andy Cohen has always been a lightning rod for controversy, but this one feels like a doozy. From the beginning, he's been a vocal advocate for all things Real Housewives, but what seemed like a casual, perhaps even harmless curiosity about the physical transformations of some of his reality TV stars has spiraled into accusations of body shaming and inappropriate fixation. Let's break this down. Over the years, Real Housewives has been a spectacle of glam, drama, and, yes, physical enhancement. Whether it's facelifts, breast implants, lip fillers, or Botox, these women are often just as famous for their looks as they are for their fiery personalities and interpersonal drama. But what started as a lighthearted commentary on this new age of beauty quickly evolved into a rather obsessive and, to some, uncomfortable narrative pushed by Cohen. It all began on Watch What Happens Live, where Andy would regularly ask the housewives about their beauty routines, what they were getting done, and the specifics of their transformations. At first, it was playful. A little cheeky banter here and there, asking about a nip here or a tuck there. But before long, Cohen's questions seemed to go beyond curiosity into almost a fixation. For some viewers, this crossed a line, especially when the conversation began to veer into a territory where women's appearances were constantly dissected and judged. For instance, take the reunion specials. The dramatic moments in these marathons often involved Andy staring down the women on stage, asking them to comment on their surgeries or the changes to their faces. The line between playful and invasive started to blur, and fans began to take notice. His interactions, which once felt like fun, cheeky probing, began to feel more like a critique of the women's appearances, with his questions about enhancements often overshadowing the actual drama happening on screen. It became less about the drama and more about the work these women had done on their bodies. Cue the backlash. A lot of people on social media have pointed out that Andy's preoccupation with these women's physical transformations, particularly in the context of their age, seemed to reek of ageism. As women of a certain age in a media landscape that prioritizes youth, many of the housewives have been open about their cosmetic work. But when Andy Cohen continuously zeroes in on their looks, it gives off the vibe that they're only valuable if they conform to a certain standard of beauty. One that's perpetually young and immaculately sculpted. It's a conversation that's been raging for years in pop culture. The one that questions how far women have to go in order to fit into the narrow mold society imposes on them. And when the host of one of the most popular reality shows continues to probe into women's cosmetic choices, it feels like a reinforcement of the Housewives franchise have noted that Cohen's focus on surgery trivializes their accomplishments and personalities in favor of scrutinizing their appearances. This also ties into a larger conversation about reality TV and the pressure it places on women. Reality TV, particularly the Real Housewives series, has long been criticized for perpetuating unrealistic standards of beauty, often celebrating a plastic, edited version of reality. The constant highlighting of surgeries and cosmetic procedures only deepens this issue. In essence, Andy Cohen is often seen as the face of the industry that perpetuates these ideals, and when he engages with his stars in such a way, it's seen by some as a tacit approval of that culture. But let's not get too carried away. Cohen is a seasoned TV host. He's a producer who knows how to get attention and keep people tuned in. Maybe, just maybe, he's leaning into this because it generates buzz. In the world of reality TV, drama and spectacle are everything. The more people talk, the better it is for ratings. And whether or not it's the healthiest approach, Andy Cohen knows that people love gossip. They love dissecting these women's looks as much as they love watching them fight. It's all part of the package. It's part of the circus that has made Real Housewives the global phenomenon it is today. Even so, it begs the question, does that mean it's okay for him to continue asking these probing questions? Some say no. They argue that the entire thing perpetuates an unhealthy fixation on appearance and perpetuates negative stereotypes about women, particularly older women, in Hollywood. Of course, some might argue that he's just doing his job. That's what Cohen has said in his defense, asserting that his approach is just a part of the entertainment machine that Real Housewives has become. His questionings aren't meant to hurt, but to entertain. But there's a difference between creating drama for the sake of drama and doing so in a way that perpetuates toxic beauty standards. Still, the accusations of surgery obsession persist. The backlash has been strong enough that people are calling for a more empathetic approach to how we discuss women's bodies in the media. The hashtag #FreeHousewives movement, as it has been coined by some, has been a response to Andy's constant probing, encouraging fans to shift their focus from appearances to the dynamic personalities and the relationships these women have built over the years. These women are more than their facelifts and lip fillers. Many argue they are real, complex people who deserve more than just scrutiny over their physical transformations. Whether Andy Cohen will change his approach remains to be seen. Perhaps this controversy will open the door for a more nuanced discussion on the subject, one that treats the housewives and other women in the entertainment industry with the respect they deserve, beyond their physical transformations. At the end of the day, though, it's clear that Andy Cohen isn't the villain here. He's a product of an industry that has long prioritized appearances over substance. And as much as people may rip into him for his questions, they're only really pointing to a much larger problem in the entertainment world, one that's much harder to fix than just shifting a few questions on a reunion special. But in the meantime, we're left wondering, will Andy keep digging into the housewives' cosmetic surgeries? Or will he rethink his approach and take a break from his apparent obsession with their scalpel-honed appearances? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, no matter what, the conversation around beauty standards and reality TV is far from over.